Okay, so let's talk about your bio now. I know you're probably wondering about that for a little bit since I haven't even touched on any aspect of who your band is at this point, and there's a good reason for that. All club owners know and understand that every band that reaches out to them is going to say the same things, and generally they're right. Bands are always saying how great they are and why they're so much like Led Zeppelin or The Killers, Nirvana, or even Jay-Z or whatever band you want to fill in here. But my point is that your bio needs to be more than just a listing of why you're so great and how you're just like your favorite band. We've gone over why it's important to have others talk about how great you are and how you can demonstrate that with the use of reference letters and testimonials, and you should at this point understand just how powerful someone else tooting your horn can really be. Well, it's the same for your bio. Now, I've been in a lot of bands, and not to knock them or any of you, but most of the band members that I've been with aren't the greatest writers, and I don't mean in terms of songs and music. I'm talking about letters and proposals and, of course, biographies. It could be that in your situation things are different, and that's cool. If this is your situation, then great, you can probably save yourself a few dollars. But if it isn't, then this is an area that I would suggest that you don't skimp out on. Hire a professional to write your bio, plain and simple. Get them to interview all members of your band and let them go nuts. Give them all your press clippings, your videos, a copy of your CD, your reference letters. Have them come out to one of your gigs, and if you can swing it, let them hang out at one of your practice sessions and let them get to know you, to know who you are as a band. In a nutshell, your bio should be a prelude to who and what you are as a band to anyone who reads it. Remember, you're writing this story on your band for club owners, promoters, record execs, media contacts, and management types, most of whom are extremely busy people who don't have a lot of time to waste. And if you can't or don't get to the point quickly enough for them, then you're going to find your bio and your package won't even get considered for those all-important selections, and it's not even going to find their way into the call soon pile. So what should be included in your bio, and should you have a professional write it for you? Well, there are a lot of differing opinions on this one, and some in the business don't even think that a professional is necessary to get this part of your packaging completed. And as I mentioned earlier, if you've got someone in the band who can really put the words down in a compelling way, then definitely use them to do this for you. I'm of the school of thought that no one can ever really see themselves like an outsider can, so having a third party write your bio for you can definitely give you some insight as to how your band is perceived outside of your inner music circle. And again, the choice is yours, but either way, what I'll be talking about in the following are the 4 main components that are absolutely necessary for you to cover in your bio. And again, your bio is not a place for you to waste words or the reader's time, because as you know, people in the music industry are not only very busy, they also tend to be a little impatient. So it's really important for you to get these 4 components in your bio as efficiently as you possibly can, which again brings us to the advantages of having a professional do this for you. They've been doing the bios for a long time and generally have a pretty good understanding as to what's expected from your bio and how to get your points across quickly. Of course, before you hire anyone, to definitely do your due diligence and ask them what they'd be including in your bio. And if it doesn't match any of the following, then you know you're going to need to be looking at finding a different type of writer for your project. Here are the basics of what you need to include in your bio. Your first paragraph needs to include some of the basics of who you are and why I or anyone else should want to know more about you. So start off with your band name, the type of music you play, where your band is from, and if you've been diligent in getting those reference letters and testimonials, it's probably a good idea to include a quote from one of your better ones in this first paragraph as well. What that'll do for you is give the reader a compelling reason to read the rest of your bio. And if it's someone they've heard of or know personally, it's going to give you a leg up in the call back pile. So again, be sure to select the best reference from the most well-known person available of the references that you do have, and be sure to quote them. As a media person, this tends to pique my interest and definitely gets me to read the rest of the bio, and that's exactly what you're looking to achieve. So, with the introduction out of the way, the reader now knows who you are, and someone thought enough of you and your music to at least take the time out to comment about you. Great. So, why are you writing this now? What is the reason for the bio being delivered to the reader? Are you promoting your latest CD? Do you have a tour coming up in the next month or so? And this is important because it gives the reader a compelling reason to continue reading about you. You're not just randomly telling them that you're a great band that loves to waste people's time. You've actually got some things going on that you think the reader should know about, and that's a very important difference. If you don't have anything happening with your music or your band, then why are you sending out your bios anyway, right? So your second paragraph needs to highlight what's happening in your career now and why they need to know about. This is also a great place to start dropping seeds of your present and your future promotional activities. For instance, if you plan on doing a mini tour to promote your CD release, or if you're doing a radio, a blog, or a magazine interview, then this is the paragraph that you're going to want to include this information in as well. Think of it as a teaser of what's to come for your band and its future. So now, with all the necessary setup information in place, your third and fourth and possibly your fifth paragraphs, if necessary, are where you get to dig into what your band members are about and some of their major accomplishments, as well as the band's accomplishments as a whole in general. Now, don't make the mistake of including a bio of each band member in this section. I see a lot of bands that make the mistake of thinking that the readers want to know the life story of each and every band member's entire life history, so they talk about the beginnings and how many years they were in each band, and they just go on and on and on with a bunch of meaningless information that no one really wants to know about. This is not the case. Your readers, to put it bluntly, simply do not care. In fact, it's so important for you to understand this that I'm going to repeat it. Your readers do not care unless it's an important achievement. As much as this may hurt your ego, the readers of your bio quite simply don't care about you and your life unless it's important to the band and the future of the band. Harsh, but true. So what does this mean? What do you include about you and your bandmates? Well, if any of you have had training by any big names in the industry, then that's something you'd want to include. If you've won any industry awards or broken any Guinness records, then of course these are things you'll want to include as well. Just keep in mind that the information you do include has to have a reason for being there. And playing in 10 different style bands in 5 years, where 2 of those years you were the drummer and 3 of them you played guitar, and the band was made up of 3 cousins and 2 brothers, it just isn't going to cut it. What the readers are looking for are achievements, important milestones in band members' careers. So if you don't have any of these, then keep it simple. Tally up the number of years you've all played collectively and include that as one of your milestones. For instance, you could say the Doghounds. It's a band name I just made up on the fly, so bear with me. The Doghounds have over 15 years of studio touring and live performance experience, and that could handle any inexperience or lack of achievements that a new band might have to include in their bio. And once you've got band member achievements covered, you're going to want to include any major accomplishments that the entire band has achieved. So if you've played in any major festivals, or if you've played any of the well-known clubs or venues, again, if you've received any awards, or if you've gotten yourself sponsored, however big or small, these are some of the milestones you're also going to want to fit into this section. And finally, to finish off your bio, you'll want to briefly summarize the highlights of your second paragraph and ensure your reader is fully aware of why your bio has been written. And this is a good time to reinforce your objective for sending and writing your bio to the reader, and the addition of another quality reference quote or testimonial can be used to punch home the validity of your band and the quality that comes with selecting you for whatever the purpose of the bio may be. And this is where you get to slam dunk the meeting on paper with your reader. So be sure to make it concise and straight to the point. Remember, you don't want to waste anyone's time, so this is not the time to beat around the bush, and don't add anything that's not relevant to your message. Now, should you include a cover letter? Well, I think this is an area that a lot of bands drop the ball on. To start with, a cover letter tells the reader that you aren't blindly sending out a promotional package to them, because of course, you're very professional and made sure that you got the name of the person you should be addressing your package to, right? And with this type of professional approach, you're leaving the door open for things like follow-up calls and more of a personal relationship situation. Now, understand that the music industry is like any other business. The careers of most individuals and bands are made by knowing people. And the more people you know, the more opportunities will come your way. Having said that, a cover letter can be your personalized approach to the reader. It doesn't have to be super fancy or anything like that, but it should summarize why you're sending your package or bio, and it should let them know that you've received their permission to send it and that you'll be following up with them in a week's time. Doing this can have a seriously dramatic effect on your success rate for getting media and gigs. Cover letters are just nice to read. They'll make the reader feel as though you really took the time out to personalize the message to them. And who doesn't like to feel like they're worth someone else's precious time, right? So if up to this point you haven't included cover letters with your promotional packages, or if you're not finding out who you should be addressing your cover letters to, you got some work to do on your future submissions. Don't mess this area up, because I guarantee that it will improve your future communications with these people. And even if you aren't called or selected, if your paths do cross in the future, they'll have a tendency to remember that personalized touch and that you took some time out when you sent your package out to them.